Hello. I decided to make this video now. It's Sunday evening because I just had a talk with some people. Uh, they seem to still do not understand what a bloody tariff is. They are still going on with the same delusions, with the same ideas, and up to this point, I think there is pretty much nothing more that can be said about it. But again, I am going to be as simple and direct, clear as I can be about what a tariff is. Or better yet, how does it apply itself in practice, in reality, to an economy? One, you want to have tariffs to protect an activity or uh, an activity or an industry, whatever, an activity. It's the most correct term. You want to have a tariff to protect that activity. For example, you want to protect your electric car industry, then you place a tariff on foreign-made electric cars. You can apply this to one country. You can apply this to all countries. You can apply different rates of taxes. You just have to justify it so that you have no issues with the organization. Okay, this is the only. This is how you use tariffs. Do not use tariffs for nothing more. You do not use tariffs to increase your profits. You do not increase your tariffs to charge more money from foreign countries unless you are completely dependent of one single product from that country. For example, oil. You put a tariff on Russian oil. You put a tariff on, I don't know, Qatar oil. I don't know. You do understand this? Or you put a tariff on apples from Canada. Okay? You don't do, but now when the other part of the speech enters by the current administration in the US, and not just in the US, okay? There are more dumb people with the same dumb idea. But tariffs do not increase your tax, does not increase the profit of your country. Let's call it like this so you can understand it clearly. They don't. And when you have an economy that is dependent, at least partially, in the process of producing any item in your country, for example, a car parts come from everywhere, from Europe, from Canada, from Mexico. Even the work part is partially made in Canada, is partially made in Europe, is partially made in Mexico, and then it's completed. The production chain is completed in the US for the product that you are producing. For example, for a car. Just as an example, okay, has nothing to do with the brand. I have no idea how they produce their cars. I don't care. But do you understand? And then you have a car that says "Made in America" that is going around in your country. Perhaps you export it, and your state is your states, let's call it like this, are collecting taxes on that product. They collect taxes on fuel, they collect taxes on the car ownership, collect taxes on insurance, on all of that. So, but When you apply blind tariffs like this, for example, from now on, 20% tariffs on these products, on not on these products, sorry, on this country. So it's everything. And now imagine this: you are producing your car in the US, and suddenly you are going to pay 20% more for the parts that you and the items, some of them that you don't even have. You are going to pay 20 plus tariffs on that. So when the parts arrive at the border, 20% on them. Who do you think is going to pay those 20%? The company is going to grab those 20% and put it on the product. And stop with the story of, oh, they are going to eat that tariff. They are not going to charge it to me. What is the purpose of a business? I ask you. To make business, to make a profit, not to tend to your needs. They tend to your needs, yes, for a price. That's capitalism. If you want to have products that do not follow the rules of market, then you have what you don't even know what is, but that I will explain it to you, that something that is called communism, not even socialism. A system of governance where the state controls everything, controls the means of production, controls the price of labor, controls the price that car will be sold to the citizens, if it is even sold, or if it's not given, or as a work car, for example, like it happened in the Soviet Union. In the Soviet Union, people were not rewarded with higher salaries. They were rewarded. Sorry, bit late. I'm a bit tired. People were not rewarded with a higher pay. They were rewarded with things like, for example, a better car, a TV, consumer items. Um, for example, the right to purchase foreign goods in certain supermarkets, a series of things. Okay, the right, for example, to spend a week vacation in somewhere in a dacha. You know, this is how the this that is a socialist system. This is socialist communist. They called it socialism, but in my view, it's communism. Okay, but that is communism. In a capitalist system, you have a person, a company, that provides a service for money. If it's too much money or too little money, well, then you have a government to charge them in taxes, which is what governments should do. A government, for example, in my view, should not interfere unless we are talking about essential things like food, like housing, like water, like energy, like those types of things. The government should simply do this. Oh, you want to charge extra 100 euros for the car? Okay, then you are going to pay 5% more of taxes. You have a big house, you have billions in your bank account, then you are going to pay more taxes. Okay, this is how a normal government acts. And let me tell you, it's this we don't have this issue with taxing wealth solely in the US. Okay, the UK has a dire problem with it because now they have their oligarchy. Let's call it like this. I know I sometimes jest and call them oligarchs, but in fact they are oligarchs. They are oligarchs that controls money and that is able to influence government politics, which is a very dangerous situation to have, because then you have people that are able to bribe a government into doing what they want them to do and deregulate certain areas, just like you are seeing now in the US with the big wonderful bill. Okay, so let's go back to the start and let's recap this so that once and for all it's absolutely clear, and I hope that you are completely understanding my speech, you are understanding what I am telling you, and let's see how a tariff works. I A tariff works how it is being done by the American government. How? Meaning a total tariff. You put a tariff, which is a percentage over the price of the product that that product has to pay in order to be traded inside of or traded or sold inside of the US, and then that is a fixed cost. Added to that, the other costs related with the importation forms, whatever, the entire paperwork, red tape, okay? And that is an expense of production. A production expense, you have to call it like this. In the productive process until it is sold, that is a productive expense that the person that imports that product has, and that is going to be add on to the final price of the product you are going to purchase in supermarkets, in your car dealerships, whatever. So, for example, what your mind has to think is this: when Mr. Trump says, for example, we are going to put, I don't know how much he's going to put. We really around here we really don't care, but I think it's 25 or 30% something tariffs on Europe. He calls it Europe. It's the EU, okay, which is a lot of countries. But it's expected. Okay, but what you have to put in your mind is this. For example, imagine this. Imagine that you buy. I don't know. Let's find the most little detail. You buy a French cheese. Okay, you like it, or maybe it's suitable for your for what you can eat and what you cannot eat. For example, if you have high blood pressure, like me, you cannot eat certain things, or you can eat them, but you have to eat in less quantities. Okay, but imagine this: what you have to see when he says, for example, 30% tariffs on European products. You know that in a couple of weeks, months, maybe, the same cheese that you buy, for example, for $1, it will not cost you $1 plus 20%. That 20% began in the start of the chain. So the guy that imported the cheese, he paid extra 20%. So he is going to double that figure to the guy that is going to sell it to the supermarkets. Why? Profit. Remember what I explained to you. A business exists for the purpose of profit. Like it or leave it, it's the world we live in. And then the guy at the supermarket is going to do the exact same thing to you. So that cheese that you paid $1, by my simple baker mind baker mindset, I would not sell you that cheese that was €1, sorry, $1 for less than $3. I would say I would call it $2.99 just to fool you. That is another trick. Okay, when you see 1.99, 2.99, 3.99, that really means the number immediately above. So 3.99 would be 4. It's a psychological idea that you are getting 1 cent more. I hope that you understand then how to apply this idea to the rest of all the stuff that you receive. If you have a car that receives manpower in the outside of the US, if you have a car that receives parts, that receives components, that receives, for example, aluminum from Canada, that all, when he says tariffs, that is what it's going to cause. And then countries and blocks react in a different way. For example, the EU is going to tax you where it hurts. They prepare the package of tariffs. If Mr. Trump starts to play around, a lot of American companies are going to be sunk. Because you see, European products can be sold elsewhere. Okay, we can sell them to Canada, like we are. We can sell it to South America. We can sell it to China, that always wants a lot of the products that we produce. We can sell it to the Middle East. We can sell it to India, even. Question is, will we not earn as much money? Well, in some occasions, yes. In some occasions, no. It's a hit and miss. But the question here is, we will sell because we can sell elsewhere. What will you sell? And then the conclusion to the last chapter of our tariff related video, you will say we can produce it all here. Okay. Then, uh, are you going to milk the cows or the sheep to produce the milk for the cheese? Uh, are you going to produce cheese that is exactly the same as that French one? Are you going to replicate the conditions, the species of the animals? Are you going to replicate the art that has been going on for centuries? The quality parameters, the specialized manpower, all of that. Look, my friends, uh, I am I was a baker until my late 20s. Okay, I am the son, great grandson, grandson. I am the son, grandson, great grandson, great 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 grandson, and going back into my family tree of bakers. Bakers, patisserie makers, some pizzaioli, okay, all of that. I can bake a, almost any kind of simple cakes or breads from scratch in my kitchen counter. I do it sometimes because it relaxes me. I don't do it more often because I work thank God all the week, so sometimes don't have time or the patience for it. Okay, I have an art. Not working on it right now because I'm doing something else, but I have that art. I have that knowledge. I have that knowledge that was passed down to me from my father, and a lot from my grandfather because I worked a lot with him. Okay, I can do anything in a bakery and almost anything in a patisserie maker. And now you tell me this. For example, imagine that I was baking your bread. Every day you would pass by my shop and you would buy my bread because you like it, because it was good. I was exporting my bread to you. And then suddenly you decide, no, if you are going to sell that bread to me, I'm going to put 20% tariffs on that. And for example, a loaf of bread was €1, and I will tell you, okay, so now the loaf of bread is €2. Do you want it? If you want it, I would sell it to you. If you didn't want it, I would sell it to someone else. And then you will, if you didn't want it, you would tell me this, I would make it. Then you would go back to your home and you would make a loaf of bread from scratch for your breakfast, just like I did. Can you understand the logic? Are these examples simple enough for you to understand this simple concept? You cannot produce things like you used to do because you don't have the manpower, you don't have the technology, you don't have the will. Those funny cartoons, AI generated stuff that the Chinese made of fat Americans working in farms and in, in workshops and all of that, they are not far from the truth. They are not. If you analyze things properly, you will see they are absolutely true. But yet, just like yesterday, just like today, I continue to listen to people telling me this. And then I have two questions. Are they desperate or are they delusional? And why can't they face reality? Look, I face reality. As I said, I have been sick. I have to face it. I cannot run away from it. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to work. I don't know if I'll stand the entire day, but I have to face it. Okay, you have to face everything front. And the Americans used to be like this. Okay, that is one of the things my dad, for example, liked of that American spirit of being pragmatic, of not fooling around, of not shitting around with shit, being direct, going to the point. Okay, he loved to watch all of those old cowboy movies. Okay, and I watched them with him because I was the youngest, youngest son. You know how it is. And, and mom was in the hospital, so. But as you can see, you have to stop this speech, this narrative of the tariffs are filling us with billions of dollars. Those billions of dollars are coming out of your pocket, of your taxes. It's a brutal, obscene taxing effort on your government, on your pockets. And if you don't care about yourselves, well, who cares? But don't you care about I don't know, your children, your parents, your your grandparents? Okay, if you don't have children, your pets, why not? All of that. Because when you think about yourself, look, when you're going down the road and sometimes going too fast, sometimes you have to stop and think about all the people that are depending on you, all the world that is built with you in it. And if it's fair to say that the world will continue to spin after we are not here, the fact is that while we are here, we can make ours and other people's life better. And I'm not saying to submit to every whim in every bad move of anyone. That is not what I'm talking about, okay? I'm talking about simply trying to make things easier. And all of this anger, all of this delusion and narratives, it won't end well. This won't end well. You know, in the last guy that had an idea like this one, it ended in the bunker with him shooting himself in the head. When he started off, he was an idealist, painter, an artist, maybe a bit mad, a war hero, you know, and he, in that start, a decent man, and then corrupted by hate. Just look at what Israel is doing in Palestine right now. They are doing to others what others did to them. I know they are not Christian, but Jesus was a Jew and he taught this. You might not believe in anything, no, that's your personal beliefs. I have a very direct position on that. No, I think everyone's ideas should be respected, and you should respect other people's ideas. But do not do unto others what you do not want to be done upon you. Okay, or like my dad simply told me, try walking in someone else's shoes before you start criticizing. Or just shut up. Shut up. If look, if you're someone in the USA and you are seeing all of this, support, for example, the ones that want to end his rule. Let's call it like this. The Democrats, for example. Okay, make look. My enemy's enemy is my friend. Okay, but don't fall into this narrative of going into, like I see so many times, so often. Especially there's a couple of people that are plagued by trolls. Where I'm a moderator, or no, and you get these people. Look, you get the Autobots. The Autobots are simply bot farms that spew out shit. Some have a better AI, sorry, others don't have such a nice AI. They are dumb. No flags and Trump and whatever. And then you get those people that are honestly believing in this shit. And then you can divide those people into two groups. The one that believes that is piously believes that he is right, he or she, okay? And the other group that is there just to insult people and to call socialists and wokes and gays and all that crap about Islam and whatever. Well, I had some dumb idiot come into a chat and talking about he went to London. It was very beautiful. Too bad they was celebrating an Indian festival. Have you been living under a rock? Don't you know there is an Indian community in London? So perhaps they were celebrating their party. Why does don't go to the party? And then another one, oh, it's turning into an Islamic country. Okay, I think it's around 4 or 5% of the population is Islamic. Most look, my dear Americans, most Europeans are turning atheists because we are fucking sick of all of this religious bullshit, of this religious zealotry. Your own zealotry of you religious people, and I'm also talking to the Islamic people because you think you will not see the same exact reaction uh, Christianity is getting now. You think that? You think that by beating the kids to learn the Quran, just like I was sent to Sunday school when I was a kid, the kids won't tell you to f off and won't live their lives? You think that won't happen? It will, because religion is supposedly made to give you peace. And if I don't want to talk about my personal beliefs, okay? At least not in this video. But if there is a God, He is a Father, Creator. He's not a slave master. He or she, not a slave master. Why would a God want you to suffer? So I get better. Get better at what? Not eating specific food, uh, praying I don't know how many times every day, covering women. Do you know where covering women came from? From ancient Assyria, where honest women walked in the street covered, and prostitutes walked with their faces without being covered. It's a cultural habit. But I won't go into that. You know why? You won't know why I won't discuss this. Because I don't. Because maybe some Muslim person will get offended and think that I'm mocking their religion or whatever, and I'm not. Look, I don't mock religions. Okay? If you look at me and tell you, look, I'm a Muslim and we don't do this, or I'm a Christian, we don't do this, I'm a Buddhist, we don't do this, okay? Okay? I will accept it, but I will want to see you do it in practice. I will tell you this. Again, there I go to my dad. My dad told me that a Christian is known by his actions and not his words. Talk is cheap. No. And we were talking about tariffs and ended up talking about religion and even a bit of history. Well, go figure. Uh, my glasses are dirty. So, what I want you to please remember is this. Whenever you hear the word tariff, then instead of seeing tariff, put tax there. So when he says 20% tariff, 20% tax tariffs on Europe, this will mean 20% of taxes on your products, the products that you are going to buy. If they continue to arrive, because you also have to consider that. You have to consider that a lot of companies simply will not export to the US. They will simply not export. And I know that there's probably enough food in the US to feed the people that live there. But is it enough to continue the lifestyle that you have been living? Is it? I don't know. I'm not an American. Well, again, this was recorded Sunday, the 20th of July, 2025. I hope this video, sorry, stream. I hope this video was at least enjoyable. I thank you for listening to me, and I like stay well. Okay.